Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
Sometimes I wonder why some people who are born into a well-to-do business family and have everything going for them decide to move away from the family business and strike out on their own. Is it the urge to be different, or pure conviction, or plain destiny? Take the case of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai. His father, Ambalal Sarabhai, was an affluent industrialist who owned many textile mills in the country. But family business did not interest Vikram Sarabhai. He became a nuclear physicist and went on to be known as the father of Indian space program. Same is the case with Dilip Ramal. He too moved away from his family's textile business to set up molded furniture and luggage business. Today, VIP is the market leader and Dilip Ramal is known as the luggage king. The story of this week's episode is similar. Surendra Kumar Arya's family has been running a successful textile business since 1940s. But Surendra Kumar would have none of it. His heart was elsewhere. When opportunity presented itself, Surendra Kumar Arya moved lock, stock and barrel from Mumbai to Faridabad to set up an auto ancillary unit. Today, JBM Group has a turnover of $1.2 billion and a significant market share in the auto component space. Take a look at the JBM story and you know how to create your own path.
You cannot discover new oceans unless you have the courage to lose sight of the shore, said someone very long ago. This profound quote, which finds mention in the latest annual report of Jai Bharat Maruti, epitomizes the personality of Surendra Kumar Arya, who founded the JBM Group, a leading auto ancillary player in the country. True to the saying, Arya uprooted himself from the family's prosperous textiles business in Mumbai to start a new business in Faridabad near Delhi some 3 decades ago. And his gamble paid off. Today, this Gurgaon headquartered $1.2 billion JBM Group is a force to reckon with in the automobile industry. This is because the JBM Group has pioneered and revolutionized the automotive industry with its state-of-the-art technology. Through its clutch of 16 companies, 35 manufacturing units located in 14 different parts of the country, it roughly makes 2% of the 30,000 parts that go into making a car. In the case of Maruti Suzuki alone, 650 JBM components find its way into every Maruti car that rolls out of its plant. Some of the key components JBM makes are chassis and suspension system, exhaust systems, body-in-white assembly, tooling, jigs and fixtures, CNG cylinders, tubes and tubular parts, and die castings. These products find its way into cars, SUVs, two-wheelers, tractors, commercial vehicles, and construction equipment vehicles. In essence, there is a JBM inside on anything that moves on the Indian roads. The group, which employs over 20,000 people, has grown to this size and stature organically by 3 acquisitions and also by striking half a dozen alliances with well-known international players. All these strategic moves are made to ensure that the group becomes a one-stop shop for all the OEM players in the country.
Our strategy is a multi-pronged strategy which we are having as of today on board. So we are using many different ways and means to incorporate that. So one of the ways is M&A. So we have acquired few companies in the past few years outside India also, in India also, for really seeing how we can enhance our delivery to the customer and follow the philosophy of art to part. Because we really see art to part is an important and essential aspect to be delivering to the customer to a new paradigm altogether. That's why acquisition of Tesco about a year and a half back has really given us that edge, because of which we are able to design our own products and see and cater to the customer's needs across the board. And similarly, if you see in terms of alliances, which I just shared, that these alliances are really catering to us and giving us a quick edge and giving us that strength so that we are able to deliver customer and saving on the learning curve today. The another aspect is that when we are adding new facilities and new plants, so we are able to get to the customer through that as well, because the customer sees the proximity to the customer, he is able to visit our facilities, guide us where the inputs are required. So the new plants, new products, alliances, M&As have all put together as a complete basket of opportunities which we have taken up for ourselves to deliver to the customer.
Customer focus is the mantra and the shop floor is buzzing with it. Today, the mood certainly seems upbeat in spite of occasional labor trouble at Maruti and the general slowdown of the economy. For the group that has a stranglehold in the auto ancillary space, the entry into this sector was an accident, or shall we say destiny. To hark back in time, Surendra Kumar Arya was the second child of a 4-children family. His family was in the textiles business, running Jai Bharat Textiles and Jai Bharat Fabrics since 1940s. Young Surendra went to the Marwari Commercial High School at Chira Bazar in Mumbai. After graduation in BSc from St. Xavier's College, he joined the family business. But his heart was elsewhere. Clearly, destiny had something in store for him. It came via the Haryana Chief Minister Bhajan Lal, who requested Surendra Arya's father to set up some business in his state. So he asked Surendra whether he wanted to move out of Mumbai. 24-year-old Surendra wasted no time. He relocated to Faridabad, Haryana in 1982 and set up Gurera Gas Cylinder to supply LPG cylinders to HPCL, PPCL and IOC. Then the unexpected happened. Oil PSUs decided to import cylinders and stopped buying it from local manufacturers. Arya's factory came to a halt in 1984. Necessity, they say, is the mother of invention. Arya decided to use the same machinery to make auto components. The first order came from Escorts tractors. Then, Maruti asked him to supply spare tyre bracket which is kept in the boot of the car. With this order, Arya got a Maruti vendor code. In 1984-85, Maruti was implementing its phased manufacturing program. This means its components had to be localized. They advertised for joint venture partners for various categories, including sheet metals. Many firms were shortlisted, but Arya's firm was chosen. This was the biggest turning point of Arya's life. After that, there was no looking back. Maruti and K Arya picked 30% each in the joint venture firm Jai Bharat Maruti, while the balance 40% came from the public issue. Jai Bharat Maruti, which started supplying components for Maruti 800 and Omni, now supplies to the entire Maruti family.
You know, when this joint venture started way back in 1987, that time our main objective was to get manufacturing technology into this country. And we had chosen, Mr. Arya and, as our partner, and then we started this joint venture. In fact, over a period of time, the way they brought in technology, we wanted first to really learn the lean manufacturing processes, which they learned it very, very fast. Next was that, they should do more and more localization. And these people really invested, whether it is a downstream activities, whether it is a upstream activities. In the downstream, they went in for, different kinds of, automated presses, automated welding facilities. In the upstream activities, they went in for the raw material tube manufacturing. They went in for those kind of manufacturings. So localization was also done extremely fast. And after that, our main requirement was on quality, cost and delivery. And these people have been giving excellent quality, cost and delivery. And that is the reason that over a period of time, these people have been able to get 650 components.
The joint venture business with Maruti Suzuki has indeed grown from strength to strength. The total turnover of Jai Bharat Maruti grew from 27.95 crore rupees with 275 employees in 1990-91 to 1200 crores with 2,600 employees in 2012-2013. While the net profit grew from 2.39 crore rupees in 1990-91 to 21.53 crore rupees in 2012-2013. But even as business was rocking, Arya started getting orders for components from other auto players. Ethically, he decided to float new ventures to cater to this growing demand. Thus was born JBM Auto, ANS Steel Tubes, Tesco Go Spa, to name a few. In all, the JBM Group has 2 listed companies and 14 subsidiaries. With so many subsidiaries and with the auto sector going through a slow period, the group CFO is certainly under pressure.
The most important challenge is to make available money at the right time at the right price, and the same is the challenge for me. But I believe in creating money. That's the way I work. And but in our industry, the cost is very important for us, and how you make the things variable. So I believe in creating my borrowing variable. That's the way I work. And for doing it, it's important that we should work we should innovate the different type of products for a different borrow for a borrow for an appropriate time at appropriate cost. So we borrow for that purpose. We synchronize our inflow and outflow, and sometimes we borrow only for 7 days, 10 days, 30 days, so that looking at what the cost of fund for that particular period of time. So that's the way we work. Another very important challenge which I feel, because we are multi-location now, and the internal control systems and adherence of those internal control systems is very important for us, and that's another challenge which we have. And we are creating a mechanism through our IT system, how we can be able to with the SAP, how we'll be able to enforce those internal control system in the organization.
With money tied up, this group seems unstoppable. A joint venture with Maruti has now ballooned into a $1.2 billion or 7,200 crore rupee JBM group. Now, Arya is aiming higher. He's looking at a turnover of 10,000 crore rupees by 2015. Can he? On that note, time for a short break. When we come back, we will talk to the chairman, K Arya, to find out how he plans to achieve that milestone. Also joining us on the show is Sandeep Uppal, MD and Head Commercial Banking, HSBC.
Welcome back. He is nattily dressed and fighting fit. A picture of health, I would say. I caught up with 56-year-old Surendra Kumar Arya at his factory in Gurgaon, where his business odyssey began. I asked him what made him follow his inner voice to do something radically different from his family's textile business. This is what he has to say. Take a look. Mr. K Arya and Sandeep Uppal, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Arya, if I may begin with you. Your family was in the textile business, yet you chose to get into auto ancillaries. What was the reason behind this, and what made you do this?
I was always itching to diversify because the whole family was in textiles. I was always thinking that I must do something different, which is more challenging. From that angle, when the opportunity came, so I came to Delhi from Bombay and started manufacturing LPG cylinders. And when there was little bit of slowdown in LPG cylinder, at that time I got into auto components.
But how did Maruti decide you as a partner?
Like when Maruti was indigenizing all their parts, so they gave us some parts in our company in Faridabad, but later on they wanted to intensify the localization program. So at that time they decided to go for few joint ventures, and one of them was for sheet metal.
Okay.
So in sheet metal, they were looking for joint venture partner, and we were already their supplier. So on the basis of various criterias and on merits, then we got selected as a joint venture partner with Maruti.
Your joint venture partner is Maruti Suzuki. So at one level he's your client, at another level he's also a shareholder.
Right,
So how, as a client, he's beating you in your rates, like a Walmart.
right.
But as a shareholder, he's also looking at return. So how do you balance both this?
No, actually speaking, when they are deciding any business to be given to us, at that time they don't see us as a partner because they already have a strong 300 plus vendor base. So for them, every vendor is a vendor.
Okay.
So at that time, they see us also as one of the vendors. And the costing, pricing, everything is done on the basis of the norms and the pre-decided criteria. So once we meet those norms, then only we get the business. Then it is up to us, how do we make profit in the given price? So the part as a joint venture partner, what dividend we will give them, how much it will be, and all those things. So that is a separate issue. But pricing is totally, I would say, independent of a joint venture partner.
Okay, Mr. Arya, the other thing I've been noticing, the discernible trend is the expenses, total expenses to total sales is very high. So is this endemic to the auto sector, auto ancillary sector?
I think that varies from component to component and size of the component, assembly to assembly, customer to customer. Where we have more value addition, like painting, welding, so there the raw material cost goes down. But where it's only stamping, so the raw material percentage goes up. So it will vary from our unit to unit and customer to customer.
Okay, one more thing that is very peculiar in your business. You have put all your eggs into one basket initially by getting into JV with Maruti.
Right.
So it is a great sweetheart deal at that point of time. But does this joint venture preclude you from supplying components to other suppliers? If so, how have you insulated a business from all these things?
Actually, from the beginning, Maruti never stopped us supplying to anybody else.
Okay.
They only ensured that once the capacity is installed, we can supply to any other customer only after meeting the requirements of Maruti. So we did that, and whatever spare capacity was available, that we used for other customers like Eicher or somebody else. But later on, the customer, when so many new OEMs were coming to India, they were asking us to put up the plant very close to them. So we started expanding, and then we became their supplier too.
But even this, most of the auto ancillary part, they're located close to the plant where the OEM is there.
Right.
Is it because of logistic nightmare, or is it because it gives you a just-in-time concept? You are implementing just-in-time system.
It is both. It is just in time as well as logistic. Plus, they are not really allowing any uncertainties. Otherwise, many a times it happens they need material today, and if we dispatch 4 days back, 5 days back, but it's not reaching on time. And especially in auto industry, if the customer's line stops, that is the biggest crime which any vendor can do. So we just can't think of that.
And in fact, what we've seen is that this tends to become quite a barrier to entry for anyone entering an auto industry, because you need extensive distribution through your manufacturing across India, because auto sector is not just north, it's not south, but it's west, and it's all over the country.
Mr. Arya, does size matter in your business? At one level, you see all the units are scattered across the country. But generally, from the management point of view, there should be economies of scale. Why it is not so in the auto ancillary sector?
Like there are two sides of sizes. One is as a group, what's our size, and second as a unit. So as a group, definitely the customer looks at us whether this supplier can meet our end-to-end requirement. Like if we are sheet metal supplier, so we are doing from design till the complete delivery. So in between there are many stages, whether it is blanking or it is die making or it is various types of things or surface coating. So that size is very important, whether we are doing in one plant or two plants, but we are meeting the customer's 100% requirement. So that is one size. Second is one particular plant size. That also is important because the fixed cost is same, whether the plant is doing 10 crore turnover or plant is doing 300, 500 crore turnover.
Okay,
so
the overheads remain the same.
Remains the same. So we have to have a particular size to be competitive. So definitely we want both ways, group as a size and the plant as a size. So that's very important.
Looking at the trend today, what is the challenge for you in your business today?
To remain fat free. So any kind of fat accumulation, like for our body, it's very dangerous. Same way in our business, if there is any kind of fat, we will not remain competitive. Then we cannot expect any business from any of our customers. So we have to be very lean and mean, so that we can meet all the requirements of customer. Every year we are supposed to give discount, and if there is any kind of fat which gets accumulated, that will not allow us to meet the customer price requirement.
When you tell JBM pioneered and revolutionized the automobile sector, can you elaborate on what do you mean by that?
I would say when we came into this business, before that nobody was investing in sheet metal business this kind of money. And they were going for small suppliers, a small number of presses, not big buildings. All those things were in a very different way. So this plant where we are sitting was the first of its kind, which started as a really structured, in a very structured manner, sheet metal company. And later on, as I said, we are continuously upgrading on technology. So this was a outlook itself was totally different. Our paint shops, those are world-class paint shops. We went for laser cutting machines. There was nobody in the country who was doing anything with laser. So all the newer technologies were all brought by JBM in sheet metal industry in India.
And others followed.
And others followed, yes.
Sandeep, you have heard him, no? As a banker, what is your take on this company and group, from what he said right now?
See, again, our view is that the company has done really well from a perspective that its focus has been largely, if not only, on the metal space. And as you heard from Mr. Arya, starting from the LPG days, that's an area he knows well. He knows metals very well. So the focus has been on metal. It has been on acquiring scale, because I think when they started, we did see a number of companies who could be subscale, and that's to your question of is scale important.
Yeah.
It definitely is, and they stuck to the focus of metals, expanded companies' range of products, but stuck to the core of metals. The second part also about the company, what we like is the management. Mr. Arya has been very hands-on, but at the same time developing the managers to be part of the management in the decision making. So the focus and the management has been key, and as he said, the fat-free part is very important, because OEMs watch autocom companies like a hawk.
Yeah.
And they're watching their numbers more than they watch their numbers. So if they see that EBITDA go beyond 7-8%, you'll know for sure that by the end of the year, there'll be a discount request on your table. So it's amazingly important for them to be efficient. And I think the group has done very well, and JBM especially, to be efficient in that manner.
Okay, to take up on Sandeep said, you're to a large extent been in your core areas of business. Have you not been tempted to leverage your balance sheet to get into new areas? You come from a textiles background. Sometimes should I get into that? Because now you got a size and you got also money to back you and also got the banker to back you. So has it not tempted you?
No, certainly many a times we get attracted towards many things. But as Sandeep also said, we have decided to remain in our core. But there are many opportunities as a backward integration, as a forward integration in our line itself. So we are continuously expanding. So it's not that we are not expanding, continuously expanding, but in a backward and forward integration. Like we did tailor welded blanks, we did many other things like tube manufacturing. Like this, we keep on adding more and more products to our portfolio, and we are expanding.
Now you're also getting into becoming an OEM yourself, getting into bus manufacturing. Is it a giant step for you in that sense?
Yes, certainly yes, but it's a long way to go. So it's a small attempt what JBM Group is doing, and we will be starting our bus plant very soon.
Okay, you have put in your annual report that you got the vision of becoming a 10,000 crore company in next 2 years. So what are you doing to achieve that figure? What is going to in your strategy now?
Now, as I said, two things. We are expanding our total portfolio of products. So backward forward integration, that what we are doing. So that is adding to our product range. Plus, like we have 40, let's say, items as we are supplying to different customers. But for one customer, if we are doing 20, so we are following up with the customer to get the rest of the 20 also. So that we become the supplier for every customer for all those items. So that is broad basing our overall product range. And that will give us a good turnover. And parallelly, we are looking at few companies in Europe and US also. So we will be looking at that for acquisition. But we are not in hurry. If it really makes business sense, then we will acquire them. So there will be some growth from those companies also.
So the bankers here, you could do a lot of hand-holding there where acquisitions concerned, Sandeep?
Yes, absolutely. As a sector, what we see auto is that as the OEMs internationalize, and at the moment, I guess 1 out of every 4 cars produced in India does get exported. 2-wheelers are getting exported. For the autocom players, it's also equally important to be as global as the OEMs, because OEMs are now looking more and more at the autocom players for technology, innovation, design, etc. So as the OEMs move, larger autocom companies will also move overseas. And from our perspective, having a global footprint, we will be looking to work with companies such as JBM, just to kind of open doors for them as they go into Europe and other parts of the world.
So what's your dream, Mr. Arya?
Long back, I thought of when we see on computers, Intel inside. I thought every vehicle made here in India should have JBM inside. So at least one part in every vehicle made in India should be there of JBM.
Oh, that's a good one actually.
So we are trying for that. To a great extent, we have achieved it, but still some gap is there. So we want to achieve that also.
Okay, Mr. Arya, very well put. Thanks a lot for being on the show. Sandeep, thanks a lot for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, that was affable Surendra Kumar Arya giving a peek into his mind and essaying his future plans. These are the mantras he implemented to build JBM Group. Simplicity by keeping a low profile externally, having a clear, frank and effective communications internally, teamwork with well-defined responsibilities and accountability, focusing more on shop floor by encouraging ideas, making customer focus the epicenter of everything they do. Seems very basic, but these mantras have helped Surendra Kumar Arya build a very formidable business empire. What comes out loud and clear is that Arya, since his early days, exactly knew where he wanted to go, and he pursued his instinct passionately. On that note, it is time to say goodbye. See you next week with another interesting episode. Till then, keep watching CNBC TV 18.
Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.